Hi there. I'm going to make this video mostly for myself for a reference because I like a sieve, not a good memory. So just to, keep track of my progress, and if I remember that I made it, maybe I'll even make another one. But my probably nobody else but me will see it. My channel pretty much just consists of me reading my poetry, and also just some music that I dance to. And anyway, okay, so here goes. Keep in mind that I stutter and that I swear like a sailor. Okay, so my name is Charlotte. I am 59 years old, almost 60. I'm old, and I've almost always been concerned about my weight. I've always been fat. Well, when I was a kid, like in the 60s, I was normal. And then in the 70s, got like the big, like the big boon of the business of making women feel bad about themselves started. And I thought I was fat as a teenager or as a 20-year-old. It was, it was the age of Twiggy and all the skinny models, and all the exercise stuff. I can remember that Jane Fonda, I had her exercise thing on a record, and I would play the record and exercise to the record. So, and I also lost weight in the 70s with a thing called AIDS. Now, not the disease, it was the candy. It was a little caramel like this, and you ate that, and that was your fucking lunch. So I was, always aware of my weight. But when I look back at pictures, I think, oh, you were young and you weren't fat. But then came the 80s, and I started to have babies. So I had 3 babies in 2.5 years. I gained, well, actually with the first one, I gained like 70 pounds. And then after she was born, then I didn't lose it. And then all of a sudden, I was a stressed out, very busy mom, and fat. Well, actually my highest weight back then, which I just passed now, which I'm going the other way, was 222. And here's an old reference for us old broads. I said to my sister that day that I weighed myself, I said, I'm a fucking room. Anyway, so it seems to me that over the decades that I have lost the same 20 to 50 pounds many times, because as I said, in the 80s, after the babies were born and I was so busy, I turned to food, right? Because like I couldn't drink. I was raising kids, and I was off the weed for 20 years as I was raising them. I know they're gone now, I'm just saying. So I turned to food, and I was unhappy and busy, and I just got fatter, and I wore jogging suits, and I got a perm. I was like, oh man. And then and I tried different things. I'd be sweating to the oldies with Richard Simmons, and I've been dealing meals, and I did Overeaters Anonymous. I actually had success. Actually, that was one of the ones that helped me for like a good year, and then just slowly it just crept back. Because I've been carving it up my whole life. Like I come from food, and I come from the love of food. Eat, Bobola, eat. And I overfed my kids, and I overfed myself, and anyway, so into the 90s I go, and the kids are getting older, and I have like 3 jobs. I'm a single mom now, so I'm, trying to get my figure back. So I became a fitness instructor, and I think I got down to about 170, but I looked really good, and I felt good. And then I started to run, and it was like, oh, and that was when I was about 50 years old that I started to run, and then I got like almost half-ass lean, between 165 and 170, which probably sounds a lot to all you tiny broads, but that looks good on me. Anyway, so up and down, and always thinking about food. If I'm dieting, and if I'm going to Weight Watchers, I just, God, like you starve for the day or two before. Just think about food. Anyway, okay. This is taking a long time. I'm sorry. I'm a talker. I'm a stutterer, but I'm doing okay, so I'm just going to keep talking. So last year at 58 years old, I had a heart attack. Boom. And I had to go have a stent put in, and it just changed everything about me. I was 200 pounds when I had the heart attack. And I thought I was in good shape. I have a very physical job. I am a PSW. I take care of the elderly, and and I was active and I was busy, but I always felt like shit. And, but I kept going, and then my heart said no, and I had a heart attack. And so I had 5 months off work, and I was just feeling so unwell. They put me on all these pills, the blood thinner and the cholesterol and the beta blockers and the blood pressure, those cholesterol pills. Actually, by this past winter, it was like, oh, I could hardly get up the stairs. My whole body ached. And so I moved home with my father, and I had to keep working. And I'm down in the basement, and all winter I was thinking, you got to turn the ship around, Charlotte. As kooky as you are, you're all those kids have, and they seem to like you. So at work, I work with a whole bunch of young gals, and I started to hear about this keto. This was just after the winter. Oh, and so then I went in for a heart monitor. I don't know. I'm awful at dates. Like, if I say last week, it could be 8 years ago. No, not that bad. But they weighed me, and it was exactly a year from the heart attack. This was just this spring, and I was 230. So I gained 30 pounds in 1 year, and I was depressed, and I ached, and I looked like I aged like fuck. And I thought, okay, do something. So I'd heard about keto, and I started to research it then, and it was like, kind of makes sense. Much to the disdain of my kids, which I have, so I've got 3 kids, all in their early 30s. They're all coupled up. So in the 6 of them, there's 2 vegans and a vegetarian, and then the rest eat meat. But they're so judgy. They're, oh God, you're going to have another heart attack. Your cholesterol. Oh, don't eat like that. But I just kept researching, and I was finding people like Dr. Berg and Dr. Barry and Keto Christina, and which is good for me because I don't have a lot of focus. So I've been learning this stuff. Like, I can't sit for hours and just watch, but I've just been watching in like bits and pieces, and it was just making sense. So I started it on May 4th. And as I said, it's July 14th now. And things they call cheats, I don't say they're cheats, but I probably went over my carbs these days. I've had, and I loved my wine. God, I could come home from work and down a whole bottle. And since May 4th, I've had 2 glasses of red wine. And what else have I had? I've had berries probably 2 or 3 times, but they're allowed. But I'm thinking about that day. I probably went over. I would actually half-ass loosely try to track my carbs on that fitness thing, but I'm just not good at stuff like that. I start doing it and I'm up, and anyway. Okay, so and then I just got home today from Ottawa, where my kids live, and I ate keto. I've been there for 4 days. I ate keto the whole time, and I made them nachos last night. And I was hungry because I hadn't had my supper yet, and I had like 2 nachos. That's it. That's been since May 4th. And you're actually looking at somebody that, I was no slouch. I could knock it back, like a couple hamburgers, and then in an hour I'd be eating chocolate. This is like fucking magic. And everybody says, oh, it's not safe, your heart's gonna blow up. You know what? I'm taking the chance because I believe in the science. And it isn't that I've lost a whole bunch of weight. Okay, I started at 230. I weighed myself before I went to Ottawa. I was 216. So that's like 14 pounds, which that ain't nothing to laugh at, but it's the inches. Somebody on the internet, I don't know, maybe it was Butter Bob, I had a crush on him for a while, said to measure yourself. So I did, and I've lost inches, but it's more than that. It's all the benefits. I feel healthy. I'm off my pills. Well, I'm still on the blood pressure, but I thought I got to get off those cholesterol pills because I felt like shit, and it's about quality of life. And at 60 years old, well, in a month, this is working for me. So it's good. What have I eaten today? I was on my way home from Ottawa, and I stopped for a bacon wrapped sausage. I bought 2 at Metro. I could only eat 1. So it's almost 3 o'clock. I've been up since 4 this morning. That's all I've had. I'm not even hungry. I'm going to make a cauliflower pizza later. It's just a freedom. Once you take, and it all makes sense. That fucking insulin is just, just hungry all the time. And the hunger's gone. So when you take hunger and cravings out of the equation, it's a piece of cake. It's like when I quit smoking cigarettes and I got over the nicotine part of it. It was so much easier. I mean, like there was like the whole psychological part of it. But, this is so doable. And so I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives. And I hope it does. Keto on, my friends. Bye-bye.